Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 3 in the series between Crank and Ryung. Crank spawning as the blue Protoss player here on the top left-hand side of the map of Ohana under the name iPad. Meanwhile, Axiom's Ryung spawning as the red Terran player here on the bottom right-hand side of the map. Now, Terran versus Protoss here on Ohana should be a very, very interesting matchup and a very interesting game. So far, we've been seeing some unique Heart of the Swarm strategies, and that proxy Nexus play was perhaps one of the most interesting openings I've seen in Heart of the Swarm. What are we going to have come in from Ryung? That is going to be the follow-up question. And what are the strategies that these players will try to employ? Now, it really feels like, and it really looks like Ryung favors the use of that Widow Mine. Widow Mine, very, very effective at just stopping any sort of attack, as even though it does have a relatively long cooldown, 40 seconds, it does deal a lot of damage and can catch some stalkers just out of position or some zealots out of position to deal massive damage in these early engagements. Now, taking a look at Ryung, he is going for that gas. There is that assimilator now. Meanwhile, we should be seeing Crank warp in an assimilator and then follow up with another pylon in just a moment. Refinery about halfway done, as we may see Ryung just quickly go into a reactor on the barracks and then try and quickly get 2 Widow Mines just for a little bit of protection. Meanwhile, Crank, now moving out with this one particular probe, will come by, take a look up the ramp, spot that the barracks is nearing completion, knows that there is not a second supply depot there, and will spot this earlier gas. Earlier gas coming in from Ryung will most likely mean that we are going into a factory here and following this play, as no add-ons are still yet on that barracks. The probe trying to run away, is it going to be able to get anywhere? Most likely not. It has nowhere to run, as we are now adding on a tech lab. Very interesting. If the probe can actually spot the tech lab, that would be a huge indication as to what's going on. Crank now trying to run away with that probe. The Marine trying to get off some shots. One more shot will do it, and yes, it does go down without spotting that tech lab. Now, no tech lab means that we are going to be going into Reapers. This is going to be your standard barracks Reaper expand, but I cannot imagine Ryung actually being able to deal much damage with this one lone Reaper. The reason being, the mothership core, which should be coming out any moment now, should be able to handle that Reaper very easily. The only thing that I gotta say is if Crank doesn't get that mothership core, he may end up paying for it, as Reapers are rather difficult to deal with. It looks as though this is only a simple scouting Reaper, not an offensive Reaper. Normally, you do need 3 Reapers together in order to take down and one-shot these probes. The probes getting one-shotted do fall very, very quickly, and it does allow the Reapers to perhaps dance around together and mitigate some of the damage by spreading out the damage and then letting that damage just simply regenerate with the combat drugs. All right, there you see it. Battle Presence can leap, also has combat drugs. The Reaper now going to be coming in along the back, and it is going to be able to spot a Stargate. Oh, the mothership core is out, and the mothership core does not shoot the Reaper. That is huge. All right, we are going to be going into an Oracle now trying to come out. The Probe's now trying to dance and get some shots off. Is the Probe going to get a kill there? I do not believe so. Got a total of 3 worker kills, but it could have dealt much more damage. We're now seeing that 23 SCVs versus 24 probes, as the Oracle will now be making a way out. The Oracle going to be very effective against the mineral line of Ryung, as he doesn't nearly have as many Marines that is necessary. Now, one of the things that I do think needs to be changed in Heart of the Swarm is the ability to build missile turrets with only a barracks. Since we do have the change in terms of the Oracle and the mothership core early on, that means that there's a lot more air aggression that comes out that maybe rather difficult to deal with. Maybe that is once again my Terran bias showing, as oracles are now on the move. 2 oracles already on the move out. We can see it is going to drain 2 energy per second. Ryung perhaps waiting for an attack to come, as the oracles are very, very effective harassing units. The Marines all trying to work together, but they are going to end up getting 2-shotted here. More supply depots being added as we are now going into a starport with the reactor. But the oracles, as soon as they just activate that attack, they're going to just simply deal so much damage to these SCVs. All right, here we go. Oracles now simply flying in. The oracles are very, very fast-moving units. The Marines now trying to get off some shots there, and the oracle is getting in some damage, but being forced to pull away once again. Oracle now backing off after getting down to 34 shields. That is a lot of damage that it absorbed, as an SCV is going to come in, do a quick scout, and get taken down by a mothership core. All right, the Oracle is now backing away. Perhaps not all too happy with the amount of damage that they were able to do, as Ryung already establishes his natural expansion with an orbital command. Alright, oracles are very fast. Here we have the oracle taking a lot more damage. Once again, it is being forced to back away. Is it going to be able to do any damage here? That is the question. It does deal 25 damage versus light units. Very effective against those Marines, as the Marines are the only real answer that Ryung has to handle all of these 2 oracles right now. But this is constantly applying pressure. If Ryung is not careful and Crank is able to find a perfect positioning and get off a little bit of damage, that could spell a very, very bad day for Ryung, since he doesn't have any stationary defense. Alright, coming back over here once again. Oracle still trying to fly around. Is it going to spot? Yes, it is going to spot these Marines. It is going to back away. A large group of units already on the move. Marines now trying to stim over. The Marines are not that fast, but still fast enough. Just fast enough to catch up to the Oracles. The Oracle perhaps was too far within combat range. Oracles and Stim Marines do have about the same movement speed. Alright, so far it feels like Ryung has the upper hand in this game so far. The Oracles did not do very much of anything. Worker kill count 3-2 at this point. And that does also include some of the scouting SCVs that were moved out relatively early. Here we go, Marines and Marauders now simply making their way in. There is a photon cannon which will get focused down very, very quickly. And now, oh, there is the time spell there. Those Marines attacking very, very slowly. They are trying to stim, but they move very, very slowly here. Both sides attacking, and it looks as though the Nexus will fall. All right, the units are now trying to get away. Will they be able to do exactly that? Yes, they will. Oracle with that time spell, reducing their movement speed by 50%. Very effective. They're very difficult to run, but we do see some Dark Templars now on the field, so Crank does have an answer. Ryung, on the other hand, down to 50 supply after losing much of that attack force. One of the biggest benefits of Stim is that they're able to attack and then move and then just stutter step away, get out of any early engagement, since they are so fragile. But we saw what that time distortion spell did. Those units moving simply too slow to get away. Alright, let's come back over here. Did I miss? What did I miss? Dark Templars must have ransacked the inside of the base here and did a whole bunch of damage. Yeah, 24 workers killed during that time. I believe that is 1 Dark Templar there. You can see all the Marines and the Marauders are working together. There is 1 missile turret. I'll have to go back and check that, as we now see an Oracle come into position here. The Oracle now going to start that engagement and that attack. And that Oracle can actually take out those Marines rather easily. Not quite sure why he decided to back away. The Oracle could have actually come out on top with those kills. Dark Templar is now holding Zelnaga Towers here, as we are trying to see if Ryung can get back into this game. 58 probes, 24 SCVs. My apologies in not keeping track of what was going on here. All I can assume is Dark Templars were able to make their way inside Ryung's base and just really rack up those kills. Alright, 1 Dark Templar here. It does have armor upgrades. Perhaps it can try and dive to take down this missile turret. SCV still wandering back and forth. We see decent saturation at the natural expansion. Not enough here at the main base just quite yet, as Zealots, Sentries, and Stalkers are already on the move. Oracles not being trained. We see level 1 weapons upgrade now going also into level 2 armors upgrade, as the Oracle has taken a bit of damage once again. Ryung moving forward with that factory now. What's going to be happening here? Oracle now trying to retreat as well. It could easily just recharge all of those shields and come back in for a very, very strong harassment once again, even taking down those Marines. Marines and Marauders are here ready to charge up the ramp, and here you go. The Marines going after all those units. Guardian Shield not up in time, as we now see the Nexus taking a lot of damage here. 20 damage, a very, very long 13 range, the same as a siege tank, as the Colossi now trying to fight back here. Both sides still engaging, both sides attacking, and we also see Crank just trying to hold off this massive bio attack. It looks as though the Nexus is going to fall, as the Marines and the Marauders are now trying to get away. Ryung apparently taunting his opponent, as we now see more and more units getting destroyed before they even warp in. Crank, perhaps assuming that he had this game in the bag, all of a sudden is going to lose this just because of a very, very aggressive Ryung, who knew that even though he was behind in economically speaking, he still had a much, much larger force. New Nexus once again being warped in. Dark Templars are not running amok inside any longer. 29 worker kills compared to 4, but Ryung now has taken a significant lead and also has a massively larger army. 2,700, 2,800 resources versus an 800 resource Protoss army, and that is definitely not looking good, as we are now trying to get up another Colossus. Alright, really need the Chrono Boost those out. Also needs to get in a lot more gas in order to deal with this massive bio force here. There are also some Vikings in the air to handle those Colossi, and I believe this may be the beginning of the end, as apparently Ryung is asking for a little bit of cheers, thinking that he has gotten this game. Alright, Colossus now backing off. Zealots are trying to surround Vikings, going after the units. Crank actually engaging fairly well here, but with only 1 Colossus, it's not going to be enough. Guardian Shield now about to be available, as the Marauders and the Marines are now starting to do a dance. Here's that, continuing that engagement once again. It looks like that pylon will be falling down, and Ryung just rubbing it into Crank's face that he has taken this game. And now Crank just saying Imba, 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 Imba once more, as the Terran bio walks over and takes out, the Terran bio just walks over and takes out the Nexus. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you guys enjoyed Game 3. Please stay tuned for Game 4.